I'm AC Brown, and you're listening to Is My Aura On Straight, a podcast designed to help you start living from your core instead of your conditioning. Each week, we'll have deep conversations that will help you create a powerful transformation that shifts your perspective in life, love, and business, with topics ranging from spiritual self-development, human design, astrology, metaphysics, and everything in between. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Is My Aura On Straight. I am your host, AC Brown. I am your psychic channel and spiritual confidant, and I want to thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Is My Aura On Straight. As you can see from the title of this lovely episode, Reflections and 2021 second half predictions. I really love these episodes just because it gives me some time to reflect on what Spirit says and give you all some predictions on what is going on or going down. So, reflections. It is June already. And last year, when we got to June, it did not seem so fast. This year has been really moving for sure. Moving in great directions, hopefully for everyone. For myself, yes, lots of clarity, lots of activity around getting clear, getting just really clear. I mean, I am in a personal 9 year, so that means endings and dreams fulfilled and closing chapters and really reassessing what you want and all of that. More on that later. But I wanted to just come on and just give you all some reflections to think about during these first 6 months of the year and how you want to kind of bang out the rest of the year for sure. And what that looks like for you. Because, I mean, let's be honest. Last year, in all its glory of us as a world reassessing everything and really coming to terms with how we want to do life because we were stuck in the house. Last year's pause, or as some people are calling it, the great pause. Last year's pause was really good for our souls. Many of us. Yes, some, lost their jobs. Some, had hardships. And those hardships led to other really amazing things. I know that it's funny, a lot of crappy companies are having trouble hiring. Interesting. Because I think people are really seeing that there is another way. There's a better way to do stuff. There is a more interesting, exciting way to live your life. That not being at work and not going to a place that you really didn't enjoy is not going to work for you. And for those of you who do enjoy your work, you realize, hey, I don't have to be in an office. There were a lot of different changes, a lot of different energetic reassessments that everyone went through. And this year, I feel it's not necessarily unfair with the way things are moving, but I think that big pause that we did experience, and now everyone's trying to go back to normal. That's the big thing. Oh, we got to get back to normal. It's never going to be normal again. There's always going to be this undercurrent, with the way we touch people, the way we interact with people. All of that stuff is going to be prevalent going forward. But I think what is really important is that many of us walked out of 2020 with a reassurance of what we do want and what we don't want and how we want to live our lives. Because, with the shock of last year and people dying and this unexpected kind of virus and people's lives being turned upside down, we realize that life is really not promised. And so we get to choose. And moving into this Aquarian age or this new paradigm, there's going to be a lot of changes. There's going to be a lot of fluidity in what we did consider normal, or what I like to say, what capitalism considered normal for us, what they programmed us to believe, that you have to go to the office, that you have to work a 9 to 5, that you all of these have tos in order to have. And that basically is not true. You can create and, put together the life that you want in a way that is fulfilling to you, in a way that's fulfilling to your family, for your legacy, all of those things. So I really love that even in the midst of everything that happened last year and everything that's still going on, many of us got a wake up call. Many of us see the things that are not working, all of that stuff. And so that's, some of my reflections for what's happening this year. It is moving fast though. And some of us do feel a little stagnant. But overall, the overall energy that I am kind of predicting for the second half of the year is going to be a lot like water, very fluid, very flowing, very just calm. And what I mean by that is many of us have really kind of figured out, okay, this is how we want things to look. This is how I want things to happen in my life. This is what it means for me to live. This is what it means for me to thrive. I no longer want to struggle anymore. I no longer want to do things that don't serve me or my highest good or my soul's purpose. So now it's time to take off the mask and really look in the mirror and say, who am I? What do I want? Why do I want it? And how can I attain this in the easiest way possible? And I'm not saying that we are excused from working, but I truly believe that hard work is going to be a thing of the past. And the reason why I say hard work is because when you are aligned and you are truly passionate about something, the work that you have to do will not feel hard. It will be maybe taxing at times. It will be stressful at times. It will feel like a strain, but it won't feel hard. You'll just have to get the work done. So I believe overall that the energy that we are all moving into for the second half of the year is going to be like water. Imagine swimming in a pool and you are just floating at some points. At some points you are, doing backstrokes. Some points you're diving in. Some points you are racing someone else. Some points you are practicing holding your breath. Some points you're trying to swim in the deep end. There's going to be a lot of movement, and that movement is going to be very different for all of us. And I think we'll get to choose what that looks like. And so, everything that I hear from Spirit is that you can have this life that you desire. Struggle does not have to be what you want. You can choose to thrive, but what does thriving look like for you? And as we move into this new paradigm and move into this new space, it's going to be like water. It's going to be a fluid, flowing evolution of your life's journey, of the map of your lifetime. But what does that mean for you? And what is that going to do for you? And it doesn't have to look like what anybody else wants. Many of us, it's funny. There's memes going around like outside is expensive now. And I can attest outside is expensive. I spent a lot of time outside yesterday and it was hot and it was a lot. And, I spent money and all of these things. And I don't regret it because I was with friends and I had a really good time. But it made me appreciate how much I want to make my space a home. So on the moments where I don't want to be outside, I can enjoy the space that I create. And I think all of us have gone through that, especially from being home last year. Our spaces are much more important than they used to be. And when you create a space for yourself internally and internally physically, like your physical home, I think that also brings a lot of fluid clarity in your life in the external. So, overall, for the second half of the year, I really truly feel that it's going to feel like water. It's going to feel like rough, hard, water. It's going to feel soft. It's going to feel like you're floating, all of those things, but it's going to be your choice in how you want to experience water in your life. So for my manifesting generators, what's coming up and what Spirit is saying is that there needs to be a cleansing for you for this second half. There needs to be a cleansing on a spiritual level. There needs to be a reassessment of values, a reassessment of your truths and what those truths mean to you. There needs to be an unfollow or unfollowing of the things and people that are not serving you, and the kind of visions that no longer light you up. I remember saying this either at the top of the year in a few instances with whether it's on Clubhouse or on Instagram or wherever, that manifesting generators there's no more multi hyphenate manifesting generators, because you are pouring energy into sources and avenues that really don't serve you. And it's best for you to start cleansing those. Use this rest of this month of June to start cleansing those. And even if you listen to this way after, that this message will still apply for the manifesting generator, is to use whatever time to start purging and start spiritually cleansing your space, your environment, your offerings, your business, your career, your relationships, and seeing what's aligned and what's not aligned, because there's no need for you to release or put energy towards things that are not serving you. I'm not saying that you can't do multiple things, but make sure those multiple things are truly in alignment with your highest good and what your soul wants. Just because you can doesn't mean you should, as I always say, but Spirit's telling me that you are really due for a spiritual cleansing. You are due for just a rebirth, and picking up off that overall theme of water, and just submerging yourself and letting it all go, and making sure that you are really holding on to the things that are truly in alignment and that truly are giving you the spiritual food that you need, that you are not feasting off of things that are not nourishing for you. I'm hearing that there is a sense of lack and a sense of hunger, but you are feeding off of things that are not nourishing your soul, that are not nourishing your body, that are not nourishing you spiritually, that are not nourishing you energetically. So my manifesting generators, make sure that you are feeding yourself things that are in alignment and in a spiritual alignment for all areas of your life. That's love, that is money, that's career, that's relationships, parenting, you being a child of your parents, a friend, whatever that is. Make sure you're feeding yourself. And if you are unsure of how you need to feed yourself, then you need to start cleansing, and you need to just wash that away and wash whatever is away that's holding you back. So that's for my manifesting generators. For my projectors, it's time to let go of the veil. It's time to stop hiding behind this mask that is keeping you stagnant, that is keeping you from being seen. As you know, I always say, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. Famous quote from Generator Will Smith. But for this new season, for this next iteration of the rest of the year, what I'm hearing for you is to unveil yourself, to take off the mask, to take off of the expectations, to take off the inauthentic energy that you've been displaying to the world in all areas, and to put on the best version of yourself, whatever that is, to remove the old stories that you've been telling yourself, because they no longer serve you. They have gotten you to where you need it to be, and it's time to let them go. It's time to release them. It's time to say goodbye to the things that you thought you were, that you could have been, and to really look at yourself in the present moment and make the choice to move forward with a clean slate, to make the choice to move forward with a new way of thinking, with a new perspective. It's time for you to change your mind and to really sit with the fact that you want what you want and that it's okay. It's never going to look like what other people have. The projector energy in the new paradigm is very, very important. It's very pertinent for projectors to start being visible, to start showing up for themselves. It's not about marketing. It's not about you being in this rat race to, be seen or having that thirsty energy. It's about you showing up and doing the work that you truly love. So if you have the energy and you're feeling called to produce a lot of work at one chunk of time and then go back into a creative space and rest, do that. If you are feeling called to change your entire business because the way that you are doing things no longer serves you, do that. If you're being called to reassess your relationships and how you show up in the world, do that. But it's time to unveil yourself, and it's time for you to reveal the truth of who you are. It's time for you to step up and to say to the world, this is me, this is who I am, this is how I guide, this is how I move energy in the world through the service of whatever you're doing, projectors. So for my projectors, it's going to be really important for you to be honest with yourself and to take a look in the mirror and say, who do I want to be? How do I want to show up in the world? And what's my truth? And to really not give a crap about what that means. It's for you to be chasing down internal success, for you to be really figuring out what does success mean to you, not what it looks like in the outer world, not what it looks like within capitalism. What does success mean to you? If success for you is riding your bike every day and taking a walk every day, then chase those things of success. If it is producing video content, if it's doing courses, if it's doing phone calls, if it's, trying to reach another department where you're working at, or to switch jobs, or to even start hanging out with a new circle of friends, do that. It's time for you to be seen for who you are and not what other people have been projecting onto you. If you want to tear it all down and start from scratch, it is your choice now, projectors, because in the new paradigm, especially for projectors, there will be no room for inauthentic movement, inauthentic action, inauthentic being, because you are the guides. You are here to guide and direct the energy of the world. So in order for you to do that, you have to show up as your most authentic self, and the right people and the right energy is always going to find you. It's going to also take a level of trust, a level of understanding for you to do so, but you can do it. So that's what I'm hearing for projectors. For my reflectors, what is your truth? Who are you? Why are you? Where are you right now? What's serving you? What's not serving you? What have you been contemplating for the last 28 days? What have you been sitting on for the last couple of months? What have you been pondering about your next moves? It's time for you to put some forward movement into what's been baking in your mind, what's been baking in your soul and in your heart. There is a calling for you, reflectors, to start being of service in a way that you have never really experienced or tapped into. There's a calling that is going to set you apart from other people. There's a calling that's going to move you closer to what your soul wants. You've been thinking about this for a while, and you have been not necessarily afraid, but waiting for the right time. And what my guides are telling me is now is the right time. Start rolling out the things, start making the moves, start revealing what is yours. Start telling the world how your wisdom and how your imagination and creativity can help us all. There is a beauty within the reflector energy that many of us don't see. It's almost like we get glimpses of it, that it pops in and out of the people around you, and it goes to it goes into hiding, and then it comes out to play. And what Spirit is telling me, that it's time for you to play. It's time for you to shake things up in your life. It's time for you to seek internal surprise on levels that you never thought imaginable. It's time for you to walk in the way that you have always seen yourself, but have been very afraid to move forward and towards that. For my reflectors, I keep seeing you dancing in the street, dancing and really enjoying whatever you are surrounding yourself with. You laughing, you playing, you telling the world about what you're passionate about, telling the world about your vision, and not being afraid anymore. So for my reflectors, it's time to start telling the truth. It's time to start, calling the people who are willing to listen and telling them what's going on, telling them what's true about them, about you, about what the world needs. It's time for you to be an embodiment of truth. It's time for you to walk in that. It's time for you to not let what you have thought was going to work that didn't hold you back. It's time for you to, like I said, shake things up and seek internal surprise on levels that you couldn't even imagine. But most importantly, it's time for you to show up as yourself. It's time for you to stop hiding and waiting for these big moments, because a lot of the things that I'm hearing that reflectors have been working on or pondering on have been for a very, very long time. Some of you years, some of you, years of sitting with things. Let it go, release it into the world. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Because you need to make room for newness. You need to make room for what is calling you for the next thing, for the next iteration of yourself. The reflector energy is rebirthing itself almost like a butterfly in a cocoon. It's time for you to get out of that cocoon. It's time for you to show the world your beauty. So reflectors, whatever that is that you've been working on, show the world. Tell us about it. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your boss, tell, your partner, tell whoever, and get it out of you. It's sitting in you, waiting for this big moment. Spirit saying this is the moment. For my generators, what I hear for you is you are lacking a sense of home, and home starts with in yourself. Why don't you feel at home in your body? Why don't you feel at home in your career? Why don't you feel at home in your relationships? Why don't you feel at home in your physical space? And what does home look like for you? How can you be satisfied with your sense of home? How can you be satisfied with what you create as home? I'm getting that so many generators have been looking outside of themselves for passion, for purpose, for vision. But it starts within. It starts from figuring out what's home in your body, what's home in your mind. So what Spirit is telling me for generators is that you need to begin writing down how you want your home to look on a physical aspect, but mostly on an energetic aspect. The home of your body. How do you want to feel when you wake up? How do you want to feel when you breathe the air? How do you want to feel when you interact with other people? The physical home, are you living in the right space? Are you having the right things around you? When it comes to work or career or business, what does that home feel like for you? When it comes to your relationships, do you feel at home? Do you feel safe? Do you feel secure in those relationships? Do you feel like you have a place? I'm getting a vision of walking into a space and putting your keys down on the counter and taking off your shoes, taking your wallet or putting your purse somewhere. And what I'm hearing is that if you don't feel like that in every aspect of your life, of where you can take your keys and put them on a counter and not worry about them, then figure out where that area is where you can't walk in and feel aligned, and then change that. You need to be searching for home. You need to be searching for safety and security within yourself, within your mind, within your spirit, within your soul, in order for you to move forward. The stagnant energy that you are feeling is the energy of feeling displaced, feeling like you don't know where you are or why you are. But you can figure that out through searching for home. So what does home look like? How does it feel? What does it smell like? Tapping into all of your senses, all of the energies around that, and creating a space for yourself, not just physically, but energetically and on a soul level. That's going to be extremely important for you for the rest of the year, is to figure out where home is and what home looks like for you. And one last thing for generators is that you are enough to create home for yourself. Spirit's telling me that in this next iteration of where you're going, yes, you can have a partner. Yes, you can have the dream job, the dream career, the dream business, the dream friendships. But you need to have a sense of home for yourself. You need to create that security within yourself that is so, so strong that whatever shakes you up, that you have no control over outside of you, will not tear you down. For my manifestors, manifestors, what just overwhelms me for you is stepping into your divine masculine, is stepping into this leadership role. For a while, you have been disconnected to your calling. For a while, you've been disconnected to the role that you're here to play in this lifetime. Almost like you are afraid of you offending anyone or rubbing people the wrong way. And Spirit is saying to let go of that. Spirit is saying for you to, as I say, get on your soapbox and shout from the rooftops of what you believe in, to create the movement, to start a new chapter, to create a new vision for the world that you want to see internally and externally. There is a huge just energy that is coming over me from manifestors. It's time to stop playing games. What are you doing? Why are you hiding? Why are you resting when the world needs you to yell and scream and shout what needs to be done and what needs to change? There has been some type of silencing that you have been feeling, and you need to let that go. You need to open your mouth. You need to tell people how you feel. You need to express to the world what you're feeling. You need to tell everyone where we are going. We are waiting on you. We are waiting on you to give us your wisdom in a way that might offend us, that might not sit well with us, that we actually might not be ready for. But that's none of our business. Your job is to get that out of you. Your job is to stop letting that sit within you. And it's like it's boiling and the pot is getting ready to spill over. And as the pot boils and it spills over, you turn down the temperature. But it's time for it to spill over. It's time for it to explode. It's time for it to get dirty. It's time for you to get dirty. Put your hands and your feet in the mud and show us what is there. I keep feeling this evolution of the manifester rising up and really expressing the star power, the qualities that you have. It's time to stop playing nice. It's time to really show up in that divine masculine energy and that power, and to not necessarily be, how people perceive you as angry or, all of these negative things that people perceive manifestors at. But it's all power. You are powerful. It's time for you to step up into the power. There is a need for your power. There's a need for your leadership. There is a need for your innovation. There's a need for your new way of thinking and doing and being. And it's not going to happen overnight, but you have to take the first steps. How will we know where to go if you are not showing us the way, if you are hiding that from us, if you are being reluctant in your message, if you are holding back the truth? Step up into that divine masculine energy and use that energy to tell us where we're going. We need you. We want to hear from you. Like I said, many of us may not be ready for what you have to say, but that's not your problem. You have to release that energy and to tell us how things need to be done and to change. You do it all the time. The manifester, that's what you're here for, to help us change, to move into new iterations of ourselves, to evolve, to keep going. Show us the way. Well, I want to thank you all for listening to these reflections and these predictions for each aura type for the rest of 2021 and beyond. We'll do another one of these. And my last words that I just want to leave you all with is to really know that we are lucky. We are lucky to be living in this lifetime where we get to see a change, where we get to go from the old to the new. That is a blessing. And I say that because, for many of us, we have been through a lot, especially for, us in our 30s. We've seen a lot of change. We've been through a lot as a demographic. And it's just amazing for us to be able to see how it was done and how we do it now. And to be able to really look at the difference and have an understanding of, how those things didn't work in the past and how they're going to work in the future. I'll leave you with this. It's time for all of us to claim what we want. As I say all the time, you deserve your desires. You deserve that. You came here to do a job. It's your responsibility to complete the mission. Your soul is pulling you somewhere. Listen to that. Go in that direction. Go that way. Learn all of these tools. Figure out self-discovery. Figure out what that means for you, the people around you, and use this information to propel your life, to make your life the best that it possibly can be. So thank you all. make sure you all have a great day filled with good vibes and great energy. And until next time, oh, one more thing. We're going to be on a slight break. You will be hearing newer episodes starting in July, just a slight break, moving into new things. There's newness coming and I'm excited for it, but definitely listen to this, take notes, and, let me know how this hit for you. You can hit me up on Instagram or send me an email. So love you all. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to another episode of Is My Aura on Straight. This podcast was produced by Callie Green and edited by Adam Ross. If you loved this episode, please make sure you subscribe and leave a comment. We love to hear from you. Also, make sure you're following me on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Until next time, bye-bye.